Welcome to the lands of science fiction stories. I wish you a pleasant listening experience.
Captain Zara Quint stood before the mirror in her quarters aboard the Harmony's Nexus, the Galactic Confederation station that acted as a hub of interstellar diplomacy. She scowled at her reflection. Her usually smooth bronze skin was now marred with an angry red splotch across her nose and cheeks. "Stupid quantum-shifted sun," she muttered, gingerly pressing a finger against her tender skin. Who would have thought that an alien beach could be more dangerous than half the war zones she'd been deployed to? A chime at the door interrupted her thoughts. She threw on her uniform jacket, wincing as the fabric scraped against the raw, sunburned skin. "Come in," she called, trying to compose herself. The door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing Dr. Elias Frost, her first officer and a xenobiologist. His eyes widened the moment they landed on her face. "Captain, your skin. Have you?" Zara waved off his concern. "Just a souvenir from shore leave on Aura Prime. Their binary star system packs quite the punch." Elias frowned. "Perhaps you should visit the medbay. We have that meeting with the Confederation Council in less than 10 minutes, and they might misinterpret your condition." Zara glanced at the chronometer. "No time for that. It's just a little sunburn. What's the worst that could happen?" As it turned out, the answer was quite a lot. The Galactic Council chamber was a marvel of xenoarchitecture, designed to accommodate species from across the known universe. Hovering platforms floated beside water-filled tanks, and the air hummed with the soft buzz of translator nodes, each primed to interpret dozens of alien dialects. Zara and Elias moved toward the human delegation's platform. As they took their seats, Zara could feel eyes, or equivalent sensory organs, turn toward her. Whispers and murmurs rippled across the chamber. "Told you the medbay was a good idea," Elias whispered, though Zara ignored him. Before she could respond, the meeting was called to order. High Counselor Zix, a being of pure energy encased within an elaborate crystalline shell, floated to the center. "Esteemed delegates, we gather today to discuss Earth's integration into the Galactic Confederation. Are there any pressing matters before we begin?" To Zara's surprise, dozens of alien limbs, tentacles, and appendages shot up at once. The High Counselor's voice hummed through the translators. "The chair recognizes Delegate Gloop of the Viscasi Collective." A gelatinous blob rippled as it spoke, its translator turning gurgles into coherent words. "High Counselor, I must express grave concern. The human representative appears to have suffered severe radiation burns. Are we to understand that Earth's sun has intensified its output? Should we prepare for system-wide evacuation?" Zara blinked, caught off guard. Radiation burns? Then it clicked. Her sunburn. She stood, ignoring the sting in her skin. "Esteemed delegates, there is no cause for alarm. This is merely—" Her explanation was drowned out by a cacophony of alarmed alien voices. "Look at the discoloration," shouted one delegate, their leaf-like appendages quivering in distress. Have their protective layers been compromised? Could this be a sign of impending solar instability in their system? A rocky, silicon-based creature rumbled. "What if it's contagious?" shrieked another, setting off a wave of panicked chittering. A squad of quarantine enforcers, their iridescent hazmat suits glinting under the chamber's light, began to move toward the human delegation section. Elias sidled closer to Zara, who was still trying to make herself heard over the chaos. "Esteemed delegates, I assure you this is nothing but a mild sunburn," Zara called out, her voice barely cutting through the noise. "Humans can experience this after exposure to ultraviolet radiation for too long. It's harmless." The chamber fell silent for a heartbeat. "You mean this happens regularly?" gasped a photosynthian representative, their leafy appendages twitching in disbelief. "Do humans willingly expose themselves to radiation?" A mechanical voice buzzed from the Robotech delegation. "Well, yes," Elias interjected, stepping beside Zara. "It's a natural part of our biology. Human skin can darken when exposed to the sun, producing melanin as a defense against ultraviolet radiation. If exposed too much, it can result in what we call a sunburn, but it heals. It's harmless." The explanation did little to calm the assembly. If anything, the aliens seemed more disturbed. "You allow your protective layers to burn?" Delegate Gloop's gelatinous form rippled with something akin to nausea. Zara rubbed her temples, feeling the headache mounting. This was spiraling out of control. It's really not as bad as you're imagining. It's a sign. A high-pitched trill erupted from the floating Melodian representative. A sign of solar instability. Evacuate the system. The High Counselor's crystalline form pulsed with a calming blue glow. Order. We must allow the human delegation to explain. Captain Quint, Dr. Frost, please elaborate. All eyes, in all their various forms, turned toward Zara and Elias. Taking a deep breath, Zara stepped forward. High Counselor, esteemed delegates, I appreciate your concern, but I assure you this is a completely normal and benign condition. It is a result of exposure to ultraviolet radiation from the binary stars of Aura Prime, where I recently spent time on leave. It's called a sunburn, a minor inconvenience for humans. There's no need for panic. The chamber buzzed with confusion. Do you mean to say this is a common occurrence for your species? Asked the Robotech representative, their metallic voice clicking in disbelief. Zara nodded. Yes, it happens often, but it's completely harmless. Whispers erupted again, with multiple delegates conferring amongst themselves. We've encountered a Deathworlder phenomenon, an aquatic delegate bubbled. Their species is far too resilient. What if this tolerance extends beyond mere sun exposure? Zara shot a glance at Elias. Things were getting out of hand fast. She needed to regain control of the situation before the panic worsened. Esteemed delegates, humans are adaptable. Our world is classified as a death world, and we've evolved to endure extreme environments. The ability to withstand radiation, in small amounts, is one of our strengths. The council chamber was silent for a moment, before the High Counselor spoke again, their voice echoing across the hall. Humans willingly endure radiation exposure for cosmetic reasons? This is most unexpected. Zara sighed inwardly. Yes, High Counselor, in some cultures, tanning, darkening the skin by exposure to UV rays, is considered desirable. But I assure you, this is purely a personal choice, and nothing to be concerned about. The chamber remained eerily quiet. It was clear that to these alien species, Earth's simple sunburn was anything but simple. Zara straightened her shoulders, hoping to steer the conversation away from their fixation. However, this adaptability allows us to survive and thrive in environments where others might struggle. We can use that strength to contribute to the exploration of dangerous sectors of the galaxy. Murmurs of intrigue began to ripple through the council. The High Counselor's form pulsed with thought. Continue, Captain. How might this human adaptability benefit the Galactic Confederation? Finally, Zara thought, a way out of this ridiculous mess. If she played this right, she could salvage the situation. Maybe even turn it. Captain Zara Quint took a deep breath, sensing that she now had the attention of the entire Galactic Council. The weight of interstellar diplomacy pressed down on her shoulders, and the irritating sting of her sunburn did little to help her focus. Yet, this was a pivotal moment. Somehow, her embarrassing mishap had opened the door to an opportunity. High Counselor Zix, esteemed delegates, she began, letting her voice carry through the vast chamber. Humans are an adaptable species. What you perceive as radiation burns from a harsh environment is simply a reflection of our ability to survive and thrive under extreme conditions. On Earth, we face these kinds of challenges daily. Our planet is classified as a death world, but it is also the crucible that forged us into who we are. The murmurs in the chamber grew quieter as Zara spoke. Elias stood beside her, nodding along, ready to back up her claims with scientific explanations if necessary. Zara continued. Human adaptability goes beyond enduring minor ultraviolet exposure. We've evolved to survive earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, and more. And it's not just about survival. We've learned to use these adversities to grow, innovate, and push our boundaries. This makes us uniquely suited to explore dangerous, uncharted regions of the galaxy, places too hazardous for other species. There was a brief pause before the Robotech representative, the sleek metallic form of their nanite-driven avatar, hummed to life. Query, Are you proposing that humans should lead exploratory missions into sectors deemed unsafe for standard Confederation survey teams? Elias stepped in. That's precisely what we're suggesting. Humans, with our ability to endure and adapt to extreme environments, could spearhead these missions. We have experience with toxic atmospheres, high radiation levels, and even environments with volatile geological activity. Zara nodded. We're proposing the creation of a Human Hazardous Environment Exploration Division. Teams of humans trained specifically to venture into regions of space too dangerous for conventional exploration. These teams would assess new planetary systems, asteroids, and anomalies, gathering invaluable data for the Confederation. A ripple of shock went through the chamber. The alien delegates began to confer with one another, their various languages overlapping in a cacophony of sound. Zara held her breath. The idea had merit, but convincing the council was another matter entirely. One of the aquatic representatives, encased in a water-filled sphere, floated forward. This proposal, while intriguing, seems reckless. The risks to human life would be enormous. Zara had been waiting for this objection. Yes, the risks are significant, but humans have a saying, where there is great risk, there is also great reward. Our people have always been driven by exploration, discovery, and a thirst for knowledge. We're willing to take those risks because the potential benefits, for all species in the Confederation, are tremendous. High Counselor Zix's crystalline form shimmered as they spoke. Captain Quint, your proposal raises many questions. How would you ensure the safety of your people in such hazardous conditions? What protocols would be in place to prevent catastrophic loss of life? Zara didn't hesitate. The Human Hazardous Environment Exploration Division would be equipped with advanced technology to minimize the risks. We've developed protective gear that can withstand extreme radiation, atmospheric toxicity, and pressure differentials. In addition, we would implement a rigorous training program, drawing from our experience in deep space missions, hostile planetary environments, and emergency response scenarios. Elias added, our medical advancements also play a crucial role. Humans have developed nanotechnology capable of repairing cellular damage from radiation, injuries, and other environmental hazards. These innovations would be integrated into the team's equipment, further reducing the risks. The chamber hummed with interest, and Zara could tell they were beginning to win over the more pragmatic delegates. Still, there were lingering doubts. Delegate Glup, the gelatinous viscosity representative, spoke next. But why would humans willingly expose themselves to such danger? It seems contrary to self-preservation. Zara allowed herself a small smile. Humans are curious by nature. We've always sought out the unknown, not because it's easy, but because it challenges us. There's an inherent drive in our species to push beyond our limits. Exploring hazardous environments isn't just about survival. It's about understanding the universe and our place in it. That's a trait we bring to the Confederation. The Psyllid representative, a diaphanous being that shimmered with the soft glow of its homeworld's unique energy fields, drifted closer. You speak of adaptability, yet this very incident, your Sunburn, suggests a vulnerability. How can we trust your species to lead such dangerous expeditions if you are still susceptible to such basic environmental factors? Zara had expected this. What you see as a weakness is actually a strength. Yes, I suffered from sunburn because I underestimated the binary suns of Aura Prime. But what you need to understand is that we recover quickly from such damage. Our bodies are designed to heal, to adapt, and to learn from these experiences. Every time we face adversity, we emerge stronger. The Psyllid's form rippled thoughtfully. Intriguing. And your species' capacity for rapid adaptation has been noted in previous encounters. But can you guarantee this exploration division won't endanger the rest of the Confederation? Elias stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. That's exactly why humans should lead these missions. We understand risk better than anyone, and we are meticulous in planning for it. The hazardous environments we would explore are not places the Confederation could easily access otherwise. Our teams would act as pioneers, gathering critical data and paving the way for future, safer exploration. This reduces the risk for all other species. High Counselor Zix's crystalline form pulsed. their voice filling the chamber. This is a bold proposal, one that warrants further consideration. However, Captain Quint, I must ask, if the risks are as high as you suggest, why should we allow a Deathworld species to take on such responsibility? What makes humans truly qualified to face these hazards? Zara met the High Counselor's gaze, or what she assumed was their equivalent of a gaze. Because we've been doing it for millennia. From the first time our ancestors walked out of Africa into unknown lands, to our exploration of space, humans have always faced danger head-on. We've built civilizations on the edge of disaster and learned how to thrive there. That's why we're uniquely qualified. We don't just survive, we evolve. The chamber buzzed with contemplation. Zara could feel the momentum shifting in their favor. There was hesitation, yes, but also interest. Curiosity was a powerful force, and she could see that spark igniting in the minds of the alien delegates. High Counselor Zix's form brightened slightly. Very well, Captain Quint. The Council will take your proposal under advisement. This session is adjourned. As the delegates began to disperse, Elias turned to Zara, his face betraying both amusement and admiration. Only you could turn a Sunburn into a proposal for a new branch of galactic exploration. Zara chuckled, wincing at the pull on her tender skin. Yeah, well, that's humans for you. We make the best of a bad situation. She watched as the last of the delegates drifted away, still discussing the unexpected turn the meeting had taken. A Sunburn may have caused a galactic panic, but in the end, it might just be the catalyst for humanity's next great leap into the unknown. Captain Zara Quint paced her quarters aboard the Harmony's Nexus, her mind racing. The High Counselor had promised that the Council would deliberate on her proposal, but it had been hours since the session adjourned. Waiting for their decision felt like an eternity. Elias sat casually on the edge of her desk, legs crossed, completely relaxed as usual. You know, Zara, you pulled off something incredible in there. A Sunburn leading to humanity potentially spearheading galactic exploration, who would have thought? Zara sighed, rubbing her temples. I just hope the Council sees it that way. We're so close to turning this into an advantage, but there's still a lot of doubt about humans leading hazardous missions. Elias nodded thoughtfully. The Psyllid representative seemed the most skeptical. They don't fully understand our resilience, and honestly, I don't blame them. To most species, willingly exposing yourself to danger, like UV radiation, seems reckless. It's hard for them to grasp why we do what we do. Zara stopped pacing and sat across from him. You're right. They see our adaptability as a weakness because they don't realize it's also our greatest strength. If they reject this proposal, it could set back humanity's position in the Confederation for years. Before Elias could respond, a chime at the door interrupted them. Zara quickly straightened her uniform, taking a deep breath. Come in. The door slid open, revealing a sleek, shimmering projection of High Counselor Zix. Their crystalline form hummed with soft, calming light. Captain Quint, Dr. Frost, the Council has reached a decision. We request your presence in the chamber immediately. Zara felt her heart skip a beat. This was it. As they followed the projection through the winding corridors of the station, the gravity of the moment weighed heavily on Zara's mind. Whatever the outcome, this meeting would determine not just her future, but humanity's place within the galaxy. The council chamber was already filled when they arrived, the delegates in their respective places, their forms shifting and shimmering with anticipation. The atmosphere was thick with tension. High Counselor Zix floated to the center of the chamber, their form pulsing with authority. Captain Quint, Dr. Frost, after careful deliberation, the Council has reached a consensus regarding your proposal for a human hazardous environment exploration division. Zara and Elias stood at attention, every muscle tense. We acknowledge that humanity's unique resilience and adaptability are assets to the Galactic Confederation. Your capacity to endure extreme environments, such as the one you experienced with your, as you call it, Sunburn, demonstrates an undeniable advantage in certain sectors of the galaxy that remain unexplored. After weighing the risks and benefits, we have decided. Zara held her breath. She felt Elias shift slightly beside her, the tension almost palpable between them, to approve the creation of the Human Hazardous Environment Exploration Division. A wave of relief crashed over Zara, nearly overwhelming her. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest as Zix continued. The Council believes that under the right protocols and safeguards, humans can play a pivotal role in advancing the Confederation's understanding of dangerous regions of space. However, there are conditions. Zara nodded. Of course, High Counselor. We're ready to meet whatever stipulations the Council has. Zix's crystalline form pulsed with agreement. First, all human exploration teams will be accompanied by a Confederation observer from a species with high diplomatic standing. This will ensure transparency and provide additional support in high-risk situations. Elias glanced at Zara and gave a small nod. We can work with that. Second, Zix continued, each mission must undergo extensive review by the Council's Scientific Division to assess the potential dangers and merits of the exploration target. This review process is non-negotiable. Zara spoke confidently. That's a fair condition. Safety and preparedness are our top priorities. Finally, Zix's light flickered briefly. The first mission will serve as a pilot for this new initiative. Its success or failure will determine whether the program continues on a larger scale. Zara and Elias exchanged a glance. The stakes were high, but they both knew this was their chance to prove humanity's worth. Zix's crystalline form brightened. Captain Quint, Dr. Frost, does the human delegation agree to these terms? Zara straightened, her voice strong and clear. We do, High Counselor. Humanity is ready to contribute to the Confederation's exploration efforts, and we accept the Council's conditions. The chamber was silent for a moment before the High Counselor's form shimmered with finality. Then it is decided. The Human Hazardous Environment Exploration Division will be officially established, with Captain Quint and Dr. Frost overseeing its development. You will be briefed on your first mission shortly. A ripple of approval spread through the chamber. Zara felt a surge of pride wash over her. This was more than she had hoped for. What had started as an embarrassing sunburn had now led to humanity taking the lead in exploring the most dangerous, uncharted corners of the galaxy. As the session adjourned, delegates from various species approached Zara and Elias, offering congratulations and even curious questions about human resilience. The initial shock and alarm had given way to fascination. Delegate Glup, the gelatinous Viscasi, burbled up to them. Your people are quite strange, but your proposal has merit. I look forward to seeing what humans can accomplish in these hazardous zones. Zara smiled. Thank you, Delegate Glup. I'm confident you won't be disappointed. Elias couldn't resist adding, and next time, I'll make sure Captain Quint wears sunscreen. Zara shot him a playful glare. Funny. As they left the chamber, the excitement of what lay ahead began to sink in. The first mission would be crucial, both for proving the worth of their new division and for solidifying humanity's place within the Galactic Confederation. Any idea where they'll send us first? Elias asked as they made their way back to their quarters. Could be anywhere, Zara replied, her mind already racing with possibilities. Maybe one of those gas giant systems in the Horsehead Nebula. Or perhaps a world with volcanic activity too dangerous for standard teams. Elias grinned. Wherever it is, I'm sure we'll manage to find some way to turn it into a diplomatic incident. Maybe a volcanic burn this time? Zara laughed, wincing slightly as her still tender skin protested. Let's try to avoid that. I think I've had enough of burning my way into galactic history. They reached their quarters, and as Zara stepped inside, she couldn't help but smile to herself. They had done it. Humanity had done it. What began as a simple sunburn had transformed into a new era of exploration. The universe was vast, filled with untold dangers and unimaginable wonders. And now, thanks to this new initiative, humans would be at the forefront of it all. Zara looked out the viewport at the endless expanse of stars beyond the station. The galaxy was waiting, and she was more than ready to meet it head-on. End of final chapter.